Hello, my loves. Welcome back. If you've been here before, if you're new here, my name is Lorena and I'm a self-concept and manifestation mentor, coach, guide. Today we're going to talk about the unknown, embracing the unknown, how to navigate that time when you don't know what's going to happen or how things are going to happen. It feels a bit scary. You're kind of in the void, you're in a death phase of the cycle. You have left the old behind and you haven't received the new yet. You're not in a new reality yet. You're not having received the thing you desire, the thing you want to manifest yet. That's what we're going to talk about. It's a very important topic. Most people know that if you stay in your comfort zone, things can't really change. So it's important to learn how to embrace the discomfort, embrace the unknown, embrace the void. But it's scary. So many people resist it or don't really know how to navigate it. So I want to support you with this today. So most people really stay in what's familiar, whether that's actually enjoyable or not. Sometimes what's familiar is actually what's painful, right? There are many people who stay in a state of sadness, continued sadness, who feel comfort in things not going their way, who maybe self-sabotage themselves and don't really go for their dreams, don't really go all in because the fear of failure, the fear of it not working out, the fear of getting hurt is too much. So as humans, we're really creatures of habits, and most of what we do happens completely unconsciously. It's completely automatic, and we don't even think about it. And in a way, that's really good. In a way, that's amazing, because imagine if you had to consciously think about every action you take and every thought you have all the time. It would be very exhausting. But it can also hold you back if those habits are keeping you in a place where you don't actually want to be, if they keep you from expanding, if they keep you from transforming into the next version of yourself, into the next reality that you want to experience. People tend to stay in the same routines and do the same things over and over again. And I even see this a lot in the manifestation community. I have people in my field, or people who start working with me, or people I just see in the community who have been on this journey for years, but not much has changed in their lives, if anything. And that's because, they are still stuck in the same habits and they've not been able to break them yet for some reason. Obviously, I can't speak for everybody. I don't know exactly what's going on in these people's lives unless they're my clients, but I see the same patterns in a lot of people. And that happens when we stay in familiar habits over taking risks, over facing our fears, over getting into the unknown and embracing the unknown. And the unknown is really where all possibilities exist. And it's scary because all possibilities means also the possibilities that you don't want, but it also means the possibilities that you do want and things that you don't even know you want yet. And when it comes to the manifestation journey, I see a lot of people who make I am manifesting this thing or this person their new comfort zone. So they may have gotten out of I don't have power, I'm not in control of my life. They may have gotten out of everything that happens to me just happens to me. They may have gotten out of this victim state in that particular sense. But instead of actually going all in, they make I am manifesting something, their new identity, their new self-concept. And that keeps you in a cycle, that keeps you really, really stuck, because then you're not really going into the unknown. Then you're just replacing your ego identity with something else. So where you see this happening is when people believe one moment and then they go back and contract again. They constantly go back and forth. They want to go all in and then they chicken out. That's when you see that happening, when it's not really one way and not really the other way. And God knows I've been there. I've been there for a long, long time. I'm not there anymore, but I was there for a long, long time where I would go back and forth all the time. repeat the same cycle all the time. And that had become my new comfort zone. I would tell myself I would embrace the unknown, and then it would get too scary and I would contract back again. And it was just a continuous cycle. And it can be really frustrating when you're in this place. And you know, sometimes people are not yet ready. Sometimes it's actually good to stay in what's familiar, in the comfort zone. It's better for your nervous system because it might be too much to go all in. So if that's your conscious decision, then all the power to you. It's not necessarily a bad thing to avoid the unknown. But the unknown is where the expansion happens. So if you actually want change, if you actually want transformation, if you actually want a new life, a new reality, if you actually want your wildest dreams to come true, then ultimately, eventually, you will need to go all in and embrace the unknown. In order to create true change, we need to leap into the unknown. And I have done this many, many times in my life. I have done this in very many areas of my life. For example, embracing the unknown and going all in meant for me letting go of an old relationship that I had been holding onto out of comfort and familiarity. That was a relationship that I had been staying in because deep down I didn't believe that more was possible for me. So I was staying in what's familiar instead of going into the unknown, being free, until I finally took that leap. Embracing the unknown for me also meant going all in on my business. I had lost my job and I had the choice. Do I look for a new job, play it safe, or do I go all in on this when I didn't really have the foundation for it yet? I didn't really have clients yet. And I chose to go all in and I have zero regrets. Was it scary? Yes, it was terrifying. And could it have gone wrong? Yes, it could have, in theory. But if you persist, it doesn't. If you're really all in and you really persist, it doesn't go wrong. Embracing the unknown for me also meant choosing to move to a new country, to a different country when I didn't have a place to live and I didn't have a job. But I wanted it so badly that I did it anyway. I just trusted and it just made it work. Was it easy? No. Was it scary? Yes. And I did it anyway. I chose to go into the unknown rather than stay in what actually didn't make me happy. Choosing to embrace the unknown for me also meant making investments that scared me. Years ago, I would never invest in coaching, for example, in mentorship. Or I would have like the occasional one-off call to make me feel good for a moment. But it was really only about a year ago, a bit more, 1.5 years ago, that I started investing really heavily in business coaching, in personal mentorship, 4 or 5 figures. And I never knew whether that would pay off, but I chose to do it anyway because I knew just staying in the same cycles and just trying to do things on my own wasn't working. So I didn't really feel like I had a choice other than to take a risk, and it did pay off. So with all of these things, there was fear. With all of these things, there was no guarantee whether they would work out. With some of these things, there were some failures on the way, right? I made many mistakes with my business. I went back to the relationship I let go and then had to let go of it again. It's not a linear process and there's no guarantee. But if you don't leap, you'll never know. When you are in the unknown, when you're in the void, what happens is that it feels really dark. That's why it's called the void. It can feel like things are really falling apart. It can feel like your whole foundation, everything is coming crashing down. And that's why it's so scary. It's like you're entering a tunnel and it's a really dark tunnel and you're leaving behind what you knew. And you're just hoping that on the other side of that tunnel, there's a light and there's better things that await you than what you left behind. But whilst you're in the tunnel, you can't see the light. Whilst you're in the tunnel, you don't necessarily have the signs that it's working. And nonetheless, you choose to keep walking through the tunnel. You choose to not go back. You choose to maybe even rest for a moment in a dark corner there and stay in the darkness and let it consume you before you continue walking towards what you hope is the light. You're choosing to stay in the dark rather than to let go to the gray and dull that you left behind, because deep down you know that once you reach the end of that tunnel, the sparkling light will wait for you. You choose to believe that the light is at the end of the tunnel, even when you can't see it. And sometimes you may stumble and you may fall and you may fail, and sometimes you will be scared. And you will just need to be okay with that. You don't know when you will reach the end or what exactly it will look like or what's going to happen on the way. But you choose to keep walking and choose to believe anyway. So it's not easy, but I encourage you to leap into the unknown. And I want to give you some tips to embrace the unknown, to really go all in, even when it's terrifying. So tip number 1, to make it a little easier, is to take some of the familiar, take some of the comfort with you. Often we feel like, okay, I need to go into the unknown and I need to go all in. And what then happens is it's so scary and our nervous system is so activated that we contract right back. You enter the tunnel and you've left behind what's cozy and comfortable, but maybe a bit painful or not exactly what you want. And then you go into the dark and it's so scary, it's so overwhelming that you'd rather run back out. You'd rather run back to where you came from. And rather than that happening, I encourage you to just take something with you from what's familiar, or take it slowly. For example, if you know you would like to have a new relationship or have a new friendship and you would like to let go of an old one, but you're scared of being alone, then maybe don't remove yourself completely. Don't let go of it completely. Maybe just pull your energy back. If you want to do different work, but it feels too scary to quit your job and go all in, then don't do that. Just explore other options seriously, but stay in your job, or see if you can go part-time. See if you can talk to the people at your work and go part-time. See if you can find a compromise so you can ease into the new. If you would like the transformation of a high-ticket coaching container, but it feels too scary for you to invest that kind of money, don't do it yet. Just invest in a lower ticket masterclass first, or consume the free stuff that's out there on the internet, like here on YouTube, until you're ready. So you don't need to push yourself so hard. You can take it slow and you can ease into it. Sometimes, of course, things just fall apart. Sometimes you can't control it. Sometimes life delivers you these, if you know tarot, I like to call it the tower moments. And sometimes everything just crashes and you have to deal with the unknown. But if it's your choice, then just ease into it if it feels too scary otherwise. Tip number 2 is to let go, to surrender, to trust. I know that is easier said than done, but trying to grasp, trying to hold on to control will actually make things a lot more difficult for you, rather than when you say, okay, I'm just letting this all go and I'm just trusting and I'm surrendering. I just did a video on letting go, on detaching, on surrendering very recently, so I'll put it in an info card above my head. But surrender is really powerful. It's a willingness to let yourself fall and to trust that you will be caught. Trust in a higher power, trust in your higher self, whatever you want to call it. It's all semantics. It doesn't really matter. If you want to call it the universe, if you want to call it your higher consciousness, trust that you will be okay, because you will be. Number 3, quite similar to what I started out with, it's just to take your time and to take it really slow. So that doesn't just apply to the choices you make to go into the unknown, but it also applies to when things around you just fall apart and you don't have another choice, is to be really gentle with yourself and really kind. And if you need to rest in the tunnel, if you need to take a moment to just take a breather and you can't keep walking, then do that. There's no rush. If you feel trapped or you feel stuck or things are falling apart and you're losing things, know that it will not last forever. It can sometimes feel this way, but it won't, because nothing lasts forever. The period of nothingness is always, always necessary for something new to emerge. And tip number 4 is to ask for support, because you truly do not have to do it alone. Don't pressure yourself to do it all alone. I wouldn't do it all alone. It's much easier together. So if you are in a void space, reach out to friends, reach out to family, find a community. I have a Facebook group. You're welcome to join, or hire a coach or a mentor or a therapist if you need more professional support for your journey. Whatever resonates, but you don't have to do it alone. I've actually just come out of a death portal, a void space. I spent most of the year in a space of letting go, in a space of being in the unknown, being in the void, and I'm just re-emerging. I'm just coming out of it, and I hired a mentor to help me through this process, and I don't think I could have done it without her, because it would have been so much harder on my own. It was hard enough as it was, so don't force yourself to do it alone. Ask for support, whatever kind of support resonates with you and whatever that means to you. But do take the leap. Do take the leap to go into the void, to go into the unknown, because as I said, if you avoid it, what can happen is that life just throws you into it, and you'd rather do it consciously than just be overwhelmed with it, because that is actually a lot more challenging. And sometimes that's the medicine we need, because sometimes we don't learn another way. But make it easier for yourself by choosing to take the leap yourself rather than waiting for life to throw things at you, because as I said, nothing is permanent. Wherever you are now, it will not stay this way. Change is always guaranteed. Things often have to fall apart for them to come together in a better way. So if you're in this space right now, know that you are supported. I am here for you, and you will get out of this. After any death period, a rebirth always follows. And it is in this death period, in this void, in this unknown, where all possibilities exist. So enjoy the potential that you have. Even if it's scary, enjoy that whilst you're in this space, you have so much potential in front of you. So many paths you can take. So many ways things can go. As scary as it is, it can actually be quite an exciting time also. Fear is just excitement without the breath. If you're completely resisting the darkness, nothing new can emerge. So be willing to embrace it, even if it feels uncomfortable. And I know it does. I know it can be painful. I know it can be challenging. If you are currently in a period of being in the void, being in the unknown, leave me a little comment with a black heart emoji. As I said, I'm just slowly coming out of it. I feel like I've just been in this cocoon, and I'm so close to breaking out of it and turning into the butterfly. I'm actually enjoying being in the cocoon now. I'm actually enjoying being in the void space for a little bit longer and not pressuring myself to come out of it so fast, because we can take our time with it. So if you're also currently in the cocoon and you're not quite ready to break out of it yet, that's okay. If you're still a caterpillar and you're not quite ready to go into the cocoon yet, that's also totally okay. Let me know where you're at in the comments. Please subscribe. It means the absolute world to me to have your support, to have you watch my videos, share them, comment on them, and subscribe. I love having you in this space. Thank you for being here. Please do follow me on Instagram as well. My DMs over there are always open, and I love to connect with you directly. It's the best place to connect with me one-on-one outside of my coaching containers. And if you do want to dive deeper, applications for my signature coaching program, Recreate Yourself, are currently open, and you can find information for that in the description box below. So this is purely application-based, and it's a high-touch, intimate container. And it's for you if you really want to radically change your self-concept and transform and ultimately wake up every day feeling absolutely amazing about yourself and about your life. So I'll see you next time. I wish you a wonderful, wonderful day.